Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's time for Midweek Motivation Live. This is Patrick Lee, your host every week. I hope that you're doing well today. That's my wish and prayer for all of you, that everyone is doing fine. This is Midweek Motivation Live. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. You know, some people may be thinking, oh my gosh, I've got today and 2 more days of the week. That's why I'm here, to help you get motivated to get through the rest of the week. Man, this microphone is hot. Every little thing I do is making noise. Listen, I touch my computer or set down my pen. It's noisy. It's awesome. It's awesome. I hope you're doing good today, giving people a second to tune in here for Midweek Motivation Live. We're going to be talking today. Our topic is, who's the boss? I'm self-employed. Many of you that listen to the show every week are self-employed, and I'm in the real estate space and personal development space on social media, real estate space in the real world here in Amarillo, Texas. And so I claim to be self-employed, right? We all work for a brokerage who has a broker that we work with. But we are independent contractors, and many of you are as well in the areas that you have. Maybe you have a job and you need a little extra motivation going into the week. People already tuning in and commenting on here. Good morning, Pete. We'll have a few others on here. Pete, this weekend, Green Bay, maybe the only week I'll give you a little bit of agreement and say I'm not a football fan anymore, with the amount of protesting and kneeling and all of that junk that's been going on. And to be honest, I haven't watched a football game all year, other than I think 2 college games. Maybe my Oregon Ducks won their division championship here a couple of weeks ago, and I watched that game. But I haven't watched an NFL game all year. But, you know, if Green Bay's playing against Tom Brady, I'm going to say I'm rooting for Green Bay this week. All you Tom Brady fans just tuned out. No one's going to watch anymore, because I said, especially the ladies that think Tom Brady's handsome. I'm like, whatever. Tom Brady doesn't have a gray beard like mine, or need glasses like I do. So he's got nothing on me anyway. Green Bay will go to the Super Bowl. Well, I hope they do, because I don't really care for anyone else. But I don't really care much for any of them if they can't respect our flag, our country, and God. So anyway, I'm kind of out on that topic. Let's talk about some more. Who's the boss? Pete says I'm the boss. I'm like, nah, I'm not the boss. Last week, I was watching a video of President Trump, actually this weekend, in this big press conference, and people were talking about him being the ultimate boss. And he looked at the camera and he says, no, I'm not the boss. He said, he's the boss. He's the boss. The man upstairs, and God is the boss. And they said, yeah, but you're famous. And he goes, oh, there's someone more famous than me. I'm not the most famous. They said, how does it feel being one of the most famous person in the world right now? And he goes, oh, I'm not the most famous one. He said, Jesus Christ is the most famous person. He's more famous than me. And he's the man, Jesus Christ. I was like, there you go, President Trump, giving all the credit to God and his son, Jesus. So there you go. That is today is a couple of things, of course. They claim that the inauguration is happening today here in a little bit. So I believe that that's supposed to happen today. We'll see what happens. Today is a tough day for me. This is the anniversary of the passing of my father last year. And I'm not saying any of that to being a downer to any of you, because where I know where my father is. My father is with God and Jesus, the most famous one, Jesus Christ, in heaven. So my dad's not sick or ill anymore. He's not on a breathing machine in a hospital with his body racked by asbestosis and cancer. So I'm thankful that I know where my dad is. He's not lost, because people that are lost, we don't know where they are, or they don't know where where they are, but I know where my Father is, and that gives me a great hope. We have such a great hope, those of us that believe in God and the afterlife. We know that my dad is in heaven with God and Jesus, probably singing in the choir. He used to lead the song service at church when I was a kid. Good morning, Sal. Good to see you tune on here. A bunch of the regulars already tuning in. I love that. Midweek Motivation Live. Thank you, Christine. Thinking of you too. Thank you for your prayers. I appreciate that very much. So my father's not lost, for I know where he is. He's probably singing in the choir with the angels and the others that have gone on before, having a good talk with my sister who went there over 20 years ago to be with Jesus as well, and many, many others, all of my grandparents and cousins. I've got some cousins up there, and I'm anxious to get there, but I don't want to go today. We still have a whole lot more to do here on earth, right? Those of us that are alive and remain, we have plenty of things to do, and that's what I want to talk to you about today a little bit. Many of you you work from home, COVID, the coronavirus pandemic, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but it's changed our working space. It's changed our lives. It's changed a lot of our jobs, our employment, the things that we do. Many people have went out and started their own company during this time. They have, some people were let go of their jobs. Companies had to downsize. Some companies went out of business altogether. Some different companies shut down, and people had to think of new ways to go out and supply their needs and meet their needs, and started new companies. New businesses have been born out of this. So there's always a silver lining, no matter what's going wrong with the country and the world. There are many, many, many great things that come out of that. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. Maybe you've heard that before, but maybe you haven't. It's an old saying. It simply means, when we are pressed to find answers, we do. When we need to learn a new process, we do. It's especially in America. It's the American spirit. We are inventors. We're big thinkers. And we always like to say, country boy can't survive. If something needs to be figured out, we're going to find a way to do it. So when something becomes necessary, someone comes up with a way to meet that need. And so many businesses have been born out of that. And if you are self-employed or you work for a company, either way, this topic today applies to you. Who's the boss? And you might say, I own my own company. I'm the boss. I had a great friend, Carrie. I still do, Carrie, out in Florida, and they lived here, and we used to eat together and go to church together and cook together and do a lot of things. And every time you would tell Carrie something to do, she would say, you are not the boss of me. And I remember that very well. And I've used that many times. And I would say, yes, I am. So get in there and make that guacamole. But anyway, it's a funny saying, you know what I mean? And so that's the topic I want to talk about today. I was in Clubhouse. Many of you have logged into Clubhouse. You're in the new Clubhouse social media app. If you're not, it's by invite only. I have a couple of invitations. If you have an iPhone, you can join Clubhouse. Clubhouse is it's like when you're a kid and you started a club and it was exclusive and only your friends in the neighborhood could get in. Either you and your guys, you had a fort out in the woods, or you girls, you had some place that you would go in someone's bedroom and only your girlfriends were allowed in. You may have had a secret handshake or a password or an initiation to get into the club. The Clubhouse app is sort of like that. It's like when chat rooms first started and you would type on the computer and join a chat room and talk. Well, this is a voice chat room only. There's no video. You can't post anything in it. All you can do is join a chat in progress or start a chat room yourself, and people follow you based on your content. And you end up chatting with people about many different topics. And I've been in Clubhouse a lot lately. This morning, I took my wife to the dentist for a regular cleaning. So I was sitting in a chat room, The Millionaire Morning, with Grant Cardone, a lot of other huge thinkers, and talking about some of these topics. And this one is one that I was going to talk about today. And they actually talked about this in Clubhouse. So if you have joined Clubhouse, you have an iPhone, but you haven't been accepted in yet, let me know. And we can connect on there and I can get you added in potentially if I haven't ran out of invites by then. So let me know if you want to join Clubhouse. I can get you on, those of you that are listening and you have an iPhone. So, but ultimately what the topic is, who's the boss? The boss is the customer. And there are many different thoughts about this that come up. I'm the boss of me. I'm the boss of my company. I set, I'm the captain of my own ship. I chart my own course. I started my company so I can do what I want to do whenever I want to do it with whomever I want to do business with. But I would like to point out that there's a little bit of a flaw in that. There may be some businesses to where you do only what you want to do when you want to do it, but I don't necessarily think that that is your business or your appointment, your assignment in life. You know what I mean? If you have a business that requires income, then you have to provide a service that someone is going to purchase, correct? Whether they buy into your speaking engagements, whether they buy your books and you're an author, or if you're a bread baker, a donut maker, and you have a bakery, if you're a motivational speaker and you want to get some speaking gigs to go talk, you need to sell yourself on that. You need to sell your services if you're a plumber or an electrician, roto-rooter. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the client is the boss, right? And that client experience is what matters more necessarily than just your opinion of who you are and what you do. Raise your hand, give me likes and loves, either, shout this out to your friends and tell them to join the video today, or leave the chat. I see. Or leave the chat. Someone, that's funny. But ultimately, who is the boss? The customer is the boss. And I don't want to beat this topic up like a dead horse, but I just wanted to talk to you about it today because many of you, some of you on here talked at great lengths about the jobs that you've had and the customer service experience. Many of you have had great successes in your careers and the new companies that you've started. And some of you have called and texted me and asked questions in the past about that and possibly a poor performance in your job. And maybe some of you have some questions about that you would like to ask. I'd be happy to answer a couple of in marketing yourself or your product to the client or the customer, because the customer ultimately is the boss. You can be the boss of your own company, but if you don't sell anything, if you have no revenue, you're really not the boss of anything, right? So you can have a job working for the boss and the manager or the owner of that company you may work for pays your paycheck, and he says he's the boss. But ultimately, he's responsible to the client or the customer, correct? So the client or the customer is, if you want that particular person's income, here's where it gets tricky, then you're beholden to that person to give them a good experience. Now, the saying is, if you provide someone excellent service or great service, they generally may go tell one or two people. But if you provide someone bad service, horrible service, subpar service, you don't meet the needs of your client, that person is probably going to go tell. It used to be 10, and then a few years ago they said it was 11, and now the average is 15. And here's the downside: social media. If you're on social media, right, then that trend is that person who has a bad experience goes into restaurant reviews on Facebook, or they go into another chat room or another buy, sell, and trade page, or there's another page here locally that says who not to do business with. And they will go into that page, that group, and they will blast you. Let's see, do I have a sound? I was going to say, do I have a sound effect here for that? Oh no, they go into this group and they'll blast you, right? Sometimes they'll say, you provided such bad service, they're going to put you on blast. And that means they're going to go on their social media and they're going to announce it to their whole following that you provided poor service. So now today in this social media age, it's even more and more important that you not provide a poor customer service experience to your client, right? So the good ones are very positive, and the secret to that is finding a third party to give you a referral based on good service, a good experience that they had with you. So client or customer testimonials are paramount to us succeeding in business, right? We're always looking for referrals. Nearly all of my business is referral based. I'm in the real estate world, right? I try to speak to people here on the internet and motivate them to do better in life, success in every area of life. But my main business is real estate transactions. So my next client is generally a friend of a friend's referral, and I've referred them to someone that could help them in the business with something they need, and in return they reciprocate that, because the law of reciprocity, right? You provide good things to the world, and the world will provide bad things or good things back to you. You reap the harvest of what you have sown in the past. So you don't plant seeds of discord and discontent and then expect to be blessed in the future and people bring you tons of business, right? That gets pretty tricky. You need to sow seeds of favor and blessing and helping other people, being a positive influence in their life and providing a positive experience at your company or your job, so they in turn give good reports on you, and then that business comes back to you. So I am blessed. Nearly all of our business here on the team is referral based. There are some realtors that do nothing but get on the phone in the morning and they just call, and they're cold calling people they've never met, they don't know, they're getting ready for work in the morning, and they're like, "Hey, this is Realtor X, and you may be interested in buying or selling a house. Wouldn't you like me to help you do that?" And they're like, click, "I don't know you. Why are you calling me?" And every now and then, if you call 200 people a day in the morning, you may get one person that's frustrated and give you some business. So they use that as the science of numbers and math. If you just make enough calls, then you're going to get enough people to respond to you that actually want you to help them buy or sell a house, because they're in the mood, and the next realtor that calls, they're just going to give them the business. But that's generally not the way it works. So I don't buy a ton of leads and just have my people sit on the phones and just pound the phones every day calling people. So there are other people that say that my business model can never be successful and you will never achieve the levels of success that you want. However, I found the exact opposite to be true. When you sow enough seeds of kindness and honesty and integrity into the business, the people that you do business with refer you to family and friends, and they say, "The Patrick Lee Group took great care of me. They'll take good care of you too." And then the phone rings on our side, and it's someone wanting us to help them buy or sell a home. I get text every day, someone wanting to buy or sell a home. So those are the seeds that I sow in my business, because who is the boss? The client is the boss. The customer is the boss. Now we can choose to run our business however we want, right? I started 7 years ago in the business, and I thought I had a bunch of suits in the closet, and I had to wear suits every day and put on the tie and go dance the dance at the big box brokerage I used to work at. But where the rubber met the road was when I took the suit off and started meeting people where they were, talking to them about what their needs were and finding creative solutions to those needs. And once that happened, I became known as Brutally Honest Patrick. I'm going to tell you what I think exactly. I'm going to try to cater to your feelings, but at the end of the day, you deserve truth and honesty. And once that happened, and I met people where they were and started finding ways to meet their needs instead of pay my bills, then the business came in, because the client or the customer is ultimately the boss. The person who's going to be the most successful, this was one of the things that we reshared over and over again this morning in Clubhouse from hundreds of people who are very successful. They all go back to some of the earliest authors in America that wrote books about business. Once they realized you could write a book and teach people the patterns of how business works. And it ultimately comes down to this: if you have needs in your life, you need to ultimately go help enough other people meet their needs. And at that point, your needs will start being met because you're sowing seeds of goodness, integrity, and honesty into the marketplace. We say on social. So how do you get mind share in order for people to start coming to your business? You do that by just like this Midweek Motivation Live, like other shows and podcasts that all of you see and watch, by creating content, writing books, starting chat rooms, or going to meetings with people, going to church with people, going to lunch with people, just being with people, meeting them where they are, adding value to them. And that's called taking up real estate. The most expensive real estate, people, is right here between your ears. This is the most expensive real estate in the world, is the mind of those around you. If you never learn to garner mind share, you'll find it very, very hard to find or gather market share, because the mind that's where it all starts. So you need to add value and realize that ultimately they're the ones that are going to be making your dreams come true. So if you want your dreams to come true, you need to go out and help as many other people help their dreams come true. And that's my goal here at the Patrick Lee Group and with Midweek Motivation Live, is to help you guys be successful in every area of life. And maybe this is one of the areas that you have found yourself to be a little weak. And if you would like help with that, I can certainly help you. Give me a message here on YouTube. You can actually message. You can also, at the end of the video, I'll show you I usually have this scrolling across the bottom anyway. www.patricklee.work is my digital business card created by Nick Krim and Michael K at Content Cards. That's CONTENT-CARDZ, Content Cards with a Z. And they've created this digital business card for me, and that actually has all of my contact info on it, all of the social media pages that are my main ones, access to my calendar. You can book an appointment with me. I would be happy to talk to you about your business. Maybe there's some areas I can help coach you in, a couple of areas to help you be more successful or gather more mind share in what it is that you do, so you can gather more market share as well. And maybe it's just some tactics or things that you may find that you're lacking in your business, in your line of work. And it may be a way that we can help you become a better employee, even for the company that you work for, to provide better service to them at that time. And I'd be happy to do that. I do that free of charge. I mentor people all the time. I get a lot of texts, a lot of times at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, from someone needing some advice. I try to make myself as available as possible, because these are one of the things that I recognized years and years ago. And it drives my wife crazy sometimes. And she said, you're just always available. I said, yes, ma'am. And she's like, I don't understand that. I said, I know. It's just who I am. I can't help it. I want to help people. That's why I'm here every week. And if you would like for me to help you too, it may just be a text or a quick call or something. But if I can sow into you some kind of a seed that's going to help you reap a harvest of success in the future, I'd be happy to do that for you. Yesterday, I sowed a seed into a friend and actually went and did some painting. I used to paint and remodel, and I have a couple of friends that I'm still their painter of choice, because they know I can zip over to their house, clean and fresh when I'm done. And to me, I do real estate all day, every day, 24/7. But I do control my calendar, and my business is set up to where I maintain market share. I maintain mind share. I continue to pour into other people. And I live a life by design, kind of a life that I want to live. And if I have time to go pour into someone else and help someone else out, I'm going to go do that. It's just who I am. It's what I want to do. You know what I mean? So I'm just being who I am, ultimately realizing that, yes, my client, my customer is my boss and they pay my check. But you know what? I was over there doing some painting yesterday, which is so relaxing to me. I just get into a groove. It recharges my batteries. And it's basically something I don't have to worry about or think about that much. It just comes naturally. And my business was flourishing. We're selling another house. We put a house on the market, had multiple offers, got it under contract. My assistant is working from her home office yesterday. We had a couple of phone calls. One of my other agents called a couple of times. We're getting other homes under contract. We're scheduling multiple closings for the end of this week and into next week. And you know what? My business didn't suffer a bit. I was able to do what I want to do with the people I want to do, and my business continues to grow. So thank you, Christine. I try to be a help as much as I can when I can. I love that. And that's really my goal of being on here today. I'm going to tune off. This isn't a long show to motivate some of you this week, get through the rest of the week. Ultimately, the boss, you know what? God's the boss, right? He's not the big man upstairs. He's not the head cowboy in charge. He's God. He's the God of the world. He created the world. He created all the concepts in the world. And he set up, there's a spiritual law. This is the law of seed time and harvest, and you can't avoid it. You can try. All the motivational books written in America, just about every one of them, all come back to biblical principles. It's the number one business book ever written, the number one book, period, that's ever been written, and that's the Word of God, because everything in it is good food for you to ingest and help you be successful in every area of life. So ultimately, God is the boss, but next in line, your client or your customer is the boss. And you need to learn how to get mind share before you get market share. Take care of that client and that customer, and they, in turn, will take care of you. Learn new ways, read a book, listen to some podcasts. If you need in Clubhouse, let me know. Message me on Facebook or comment on there. And yes, exactly, Frankie. Treat them like people, not a paycheck. They will always trust in coming back to use the same agent. You're exactly right. There are times that you wonder every now and then an agent has used someone in the past, and maybe you can. Will hit home with you as a realtor. A lot of realtors listen to this, and I didn't realize that for a long time. We used to call it commission breath. People can tell if you just want a paycheck. If your heart's there in it and you're genuine and you want to help them, they're going to work with you. And maybe you're not as good of an agent as they needed, and maybe in the future they may need someone that's a little more experienced in commercial real estate or multi-million-dollar properties or something like that. But for the most part, people remember your genuineness, your generosity, your tenacity, your stick-to-itiveness, and you're out there working like a dog trying to get their property sold or help them find the right house. That's been very successful for me. That's the way my team works. I hope that is for you as well. But every now and then I'll have some people that will come up to me at church and say, man, I just recently bought this little house and I wanted to use you, but I thought you only worked with high-end clients. And I said, what do you mean? They said, man, you always sell these nice houses. And I'm like, I sell houses for $20,000 or $1 million. I don't care. I will always work with the person before I'll work with the house, because the houses, at the end of the day, a lot of the concepts are the same, but it doesn't matter how expensive the deal is or how inexpensive the deal is. Everyone deserves the same amount of care and treatment and respect. So that's worked for me. I hope it'll work for you. I believe that these concepts you can take to use in your own career, your own job, or your own company. This has been Patrick Lee with Midweek Motivation Live. If you do want to schedule an appointment to talk with me, get on my calendar, click on the link that will be in the comments below this video, www.patricklee.work. My digital business card created by Content Cards with a Z, Nick Krim and Michael K. If you're a realtor, I can connect you with them and they can create you a digital business card like this as well. There's a shameless plug for my content creation guys. They also created the overlays in my intro video for Midweek Motivation Live, and they can do likewise some things for you. We've got some big things coming up in the works, some new media, social media tips and tricks that we're going to be rolling out with them very soon as well. They can do the same for you. I hope y'all have a blessed week. Talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Be blessed. Bye-bye.